you, in fact, as Joan Bakewell CBE. Does anybody use that? I mean, when people write to you, I would imagine
formal letters. Yeah. Sometimes do, yes, formal letters, but I mean, I forget, really. It never occurs to me.
Oh, you can't forget. It's absolutely marvellous.
Well, I don't forget the occasion, because it's a huge and solemn occasion with big hats and much scraping and shaking of the hand, and that's a rather gorgeous event, so you don't forget that. But in daily life, without just being a hack, really, just getting on with the job.
Our email address this morning is saturdaylive@bbc.co.uk, and our text is 84844. Anything that we're talking about, we'd love to hear from you too. Joan, I don't know how often you get recognised. Is it all the time?
No, well, I don't know, because the streets are full of people who appear on television now. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's hardly significant, so not much.
Well, a couple of weeks back on the programme, we had a delightful theme about extremely famous people who failed to be recognised. It began with Daisy Wright, a young lady who had quite a fruity time of it whilst being a nanny to Jude Law's children, and one lovely listener emailed in to say, "Who's Jude Law?" And it provoked many fabulous flights to the extremely well-known. For instance, Al Pacino and Harrison Ford had both failed to be recognised by people they were talking to, and it is alleged that Harrison was rather put out by that. But what happens when you're recognised but you aren't that person? Imagine how annoying it would be to be constantly stopped in the street and harangued about the failure of the England football team, the amount of money you're still being paid by the FA, or why your girlfriend Nancy appears to have stolen Robin Cousin's ice dance wardrobe. Welcome to the world of Sven-Goran Eriksson's lookalike, worth an if only I'd known, we thought.
My name is Derek Williams, and I'm also known as Sven-Goran Eriksson.
Sven-Goran Eriksson.
I'd never been particularly interested in football, and was a little amazed when I was getting so much public attention, and it very quickly became apparent that people were actually mistaking me for Sven-Goran Eriksson. My wife made me do this. She convinced me that I should send some photographs off to a lookalike agency. Probably within half an hour of sending the photographs off, I had around £6,000 worth of bookings. Amazing. If only I'd listened to it sooner, I could have been having the fun that I've had for the last 3 or 4 years for that much longer, because it's just such a fun way to make a living.
Just looks static, Eriksson. It doesn't inspire. Does he not have a life in the voice?
I've even been in contact with some of the England team and have been mistaken for the real thing by members of the England squad. But if I am doing a voice-off Sven, it is even more convincing.
He's got Jimmy Savile-Secker, so how do you get a lovely girlfriend?
The funniest thing that people always ask is, do I pluck my forehead to give the high-pride look or dye the hair? You know, it is all authentic and original and just a fluke of nature. For the past 4 years or so, it's been my full-time occupation. I've met and worked with hundreds of top names, being kissed by top models in front of 16,000 people in the football stadium, and I don't know how many countless millions live on TV at the time.
Sven-Goran Eriksson.
All I can say to anybody who is fortunate or unfortunate enough to resemble top celebrity is that this life is just wonderful. Some of my best friends are Marilyn Monroe, Ricky Gervais, Ozzy Osbourne, Borat. It has been good for me to be a lookalike for Mr. Eriksson, and I think that with only maybe 4 or 5 competitive matches lost in his 5.5 years, he was not maybe such a bad manager after all.
Derek Williams, who spends most of his time telling people that he's not Sven-Goran Eriksson when he's not taking the money for being Sven-Goran Eriksson. It was extraordinary actually when he came into the office. He walked into his broadcasting house and everybody was doing the "come on, nudge, nudge, look at him, look at him." He is an uncanny, absolutely uncanny double. And I would say 3 cheers for him, because he's having a great time, isn't he?
Wonderful. But what does he say in his passport? Where's his occupation?
I don't know, probably rather poor football manager, I think, and that's in the standard sense, not in the amount of money in the bank. I don't suppose you've ever had a lookalike yourself, Joan?
No, but when I was younger, I was enormously flattered to get into a BBC lift and be greeted, hello Claire, how are you? And I was a bit taken aback by this, and discovered that they had mistaken me for Claire Bloom. Claire Bloom.